I want to preface this first with a little announcement. With the fan of my current computer dead and the graphics and processor almost there, the next few weeks of videos may not be on time until the company fixes my new computer and sends it back to me. My current computer's clocking, and anytime I try to run anything that requires more graphics-wise than your average toaster, and it's amazing I managed to get this cobbled together. That being said, on with the show. So having endured at 80 for a month or two and doing a fair amount of pug-raid healing, I feel safe in saying that healing is for masochists and you'll always be blamed for problems of any kind, such as DPS pulling aggro or the tank getting crit because they aren't defense capped. Or the tank standing in void zones and lava walls. Or DPS standing in void zones and lava walls. Or the clincher, being told by a rep pally that you suck and are a horrible healer for not healing him after he got smacked by his third lava wall in a single attempt, or refused to move out of Coralon's fires. Even after telling him that he is stupid for not avoiding avoidable damage, and while you can replace lost health, you cannot heal stupid. Healing isn't even all that insanely difficult. There are plenty of add-ons, such as Grid and Healbot, to help out with it, but what seems to turn most people off is the sheer amount of idiots who seem to think that an overgeared healer makes up for the tank having the armor and HP of a snotty tissue and the threat gen of a fuzzy bunny. My first heroic as a healer was Drek'Thron Keep with a Death Knight tank that had 19k HP and Savage Saronite armor, and seemed to think that a healer with mostly blues and a few epics could keep him up as he pulled half the first boss's trash and stood in every void zone he could fucking find. Also didn't help that his idea of tanking included no death and decay, no death grip, and in addition to trying to heal someone taking roughly 8k damage per second, Ath tried to keep up 3 DPS who were ping-ponging mobs to each other because that was more effective than the Death Knight's tanking. I'm actually surprised I kept it healing after that run. Of course, it also probably helps if you got a decent tank after you start spewing profanity after dying and pulling while I was drinking. Maybe it's just my bad luck, but I seem to run into more idiot tanks, mostly Death Knights and Paladins, who are always quick to point the finger of blame at the healers when shit hits the fan and the group wipes, which only happens most of the time when healing pulls aggro. Yes, I've seen Paladins who don't consecrate and Death Knights who don't death and decay. Or the tank pulled while I was drinking back when I was gearing up and had to drink once in a while. However, I will not hesitate to let idiot DPS who pull aggro with wild abandon die to their own retardery. The first couple of times, or if the tank has a threat gen of a block of cheddar cheese, I'm willing to let it slide, but after that, you pull it, it's yours, while I sit back and watch you get clobbered feeling schadenfreudentastic. Hopefully dying a few times will teach you a valuable lesson. I suppose the chase that I'm cutting to is that healing is a relatively thankless job, and not nearly as much fun as DPSing. Healing is retardedly easy until you throw in human idiocy like not gearing properly for fights or standing in patches of fire and expecting to be carried by people who did. You also need more healers than tanks for raids, and people being twits or turning off a lot of other people to the idea because it's simply easier to sit there and press buttons and then blame your class limitations for your shitty DPS. And when it comes to scenery, healers get to see very little of it because most of their UI is taken up by blocks and blocks of health bars.